Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Space Between podcast. I'm Renae Lipsmeyer. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment on these videos. Thanks again for watching. Guys, this is Renae from the Space Between podcast. So we are here in Saratoga Springs, New York, which is, of course, we're here for the Dave Matthews Band. So we're actually here on day 2. So we want to talk a little bit about the city of Saratoga Springs. This is my first time here. And so, of course, one of the things that I want to be sure to do on this show is to tell you the fan standpoint, right, of traveling to see the Dave Matthews Band. So first time here in Saratoga Springs. It's a lovely little city. I've never been outside of New York City, so coming to New York, especially Upper New York, kind of gave me a whole different vibe. And so we have some videos of the streets. This is just a sleepy little town full of horse racing and spas and mineral baths, and so people really can come here for a little vacation. So it's just kind of a little hideaway in New York, and it gives me the vibes that city people come here to relax on the weekends and to do different stuff. And so the city has a really cool vibe right now. Not only are they here to see the Dave Matthews Band, but they're here for the horse races as well. So super cool. So I'm gonna have Darren pan around. We're gonna show you the streets. So if you look around, this is just kind of what the sleepy little town looks like. We've got different bars here that people can just kind of walk around, get some fresh food, take in some of the local shops. And so there are plenty of things here to do during the day when you're not at a concert or when you're not at the horse races. Lots of shopping, lots of eating. Again, just a sleepy town little vibe, a vacation town. So this is really a cool place to come and not only get here for the Dave Matthews Band, but to get here for just the vacation feel of Saratoga Springs. So if you're looking for that cool small town vibe, but you're close to a lot of venues and you could hit a lot of shows all at once, then definitely think about Saratoga Springs. Hey guys, welcome back. So magically, through the power of time and the internet, we are now in New Jersey. We're staying at the Miss Suzanne's beautiful home, and it's everything I would have thought it was and more, but we won't talk about that. But thank you so much for being a gracious host. We're so thankful to be here together. And of course, I have Christine with me, who travels quite a bit to see the Dave Matthews Band. So this segment, we're definitely just here to talk about the set list for night 2. Now, are we going to get off track? Well, let's see. 3 ladies are talking about something they're passionate about. So yeah, we're going to get off track. But to start the night, we started the night right. We started it with So Right. And it was so fucking right? Like it was, it set the tone for, going into night 2. I think after night 1, the expectations, honestly, I went in with no expectations because my mind had been blown away from night 1. So I was like, dude, anything we get, night 2 is going to be awesome. And then he starts off with one of my, if you know me and you ask me what song you want to hear, So Right is always, always, always going to be on the list. So to start the night, it just kind of set the tune for me, or set the tone. It set the tone and the tune for me. It was fantastic. Yeah, it was fantastic. I'm going to let these ladies tell you kind of like what they thought about an opener like So Right, and was it so right for them?
So, as you know, I was on the lawn night 2, and when they opened with So Right, it was so right. I mean, I was very excited. I was with my good friend Daniela De La Thomas, and she, amazing person. And it was great to just stand up, dance with her, dance with our friends in front of us, to the side of us, behind us. It was great. It was wonderful.
Suzanne, tell us how So Right was for you in the beginning. Were you expecting that as an opener? And when you finally heard it, those first little chords, like what were your thoughts?
Well, I certainly did not expect that. I kind of expected Seek Up because we haven't heard it much on tour. And it's typically like a SPAC song, and it's like a very long opener. But So Right brings a certain amount of energy for me that it's like right out of the gate, just like the horses in Saratoga, we're ready to go, And that certainly set the tone for me. And I was like, we're going to get a great show again,
Yeah,
and I'll have more thoughts on that later.
So basically, we all got our minds blown right out the gate, which is honestly, sometimes you just need to get your minds blown right out the gate, right? Can I get an amen?
Amen. A to the men.
A to the men, she said. Okay, so then we go into Pig, which is another like crowd pleaser, right? No matter your level of fanhood, if that's an actual thing, I think Pig is always one of those songs. And I want to give a special shout out to one of my new friends where we've been friends on the internet, and I was walking into SPAC for night 2, and this guy walks up to me. It happens to be Steve Stone. Yes. And he had a whole crew with him, and I felt so good because he walked right up to me and he was like, Renae, I made something for you. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see, but he made these little pig earrings. Where's my camera? DMB. So thank you, Steve Stone. If you're listening to this, thank you for your kind heart and just loving on others. That's what this group of people is all about, is just the kindness of the fans of the Dave Matthews Band. So we got Pig, and I like to think we got Pig because of Steve Stone. So thank you, Steve, for letting us get Pig. And then we go into Hello Again, which is such a fun song. It always reminds me of the opening in 2021 when we get right back from COVID. And that was kind of like, I felt the song that we needed going out of COVID was Hello Again, because it had been such a break from the band and for the fans and stuff. So Hello Again, is that a song that you seek out, or how do you feel when Hello Again comes on?
I actually love Hello Again. And I want to give a shout out to Star, because she made me a welcome, sorry, I don't do this well. She gave me a welcome mat. I ordered one from her that says, Hello Again, it's been too long. And it's in my house, and everybody who walks in my door, that's the first thing they see. And I love that. And she's a phenomenal artist. And so I just want to give her a shout out, because all the love, Star.
I think this is a great time, and I don't do this often, but I think this is a great time for a commercial. Star is one of the people that I love to work with. She has a legitimate business, a small business, and so I love supporting small businesses, but I also love supporting people that are part of this family. And so I'm going to take a quick break. Andy's going to put in a commercial for Star, and we'll be right back after this.
Hi, my name's Star. I'm the owner of SW Design Concepts. I have a small business located right outside of Springfield, Illinois. We offer several custom items for everyone on your shopping list, from timeless to trendy, classy to sassy, whatever your shopping needs are. If it's one person or if you want to order in bulk for your business, we have you covered. Our insulated drinkware is our #1 seller. So if you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me directly or stop by our website at swdesignconcepts.com. We have a little something for everyone.
All right, guys, so if you're watching that YouTube video, you can see that Star is very talented. Not only does she love Dave Matthews Band, but she loves to help you with those personalized gifts that everybody wants. And Christmas is coming up. All the holidays are coming up. So now's a good time to reach out to her. She has a lot of products on her website, so be sure to check out Star Wilson. Star Wilson, right?
Yes.
Yes, Star Wilson.
Yes.
Love her. Star Nicole Wilson. We love her. Okay, so after Hello Again, it went into It Could Happen, The Idea of You, which The Idea of You is, isn't that the sweetest song? Like, I love it. And I mean, here's what I think. When I hear it, here's what I interpret of it. And tell me if I'm wrong. Again, I haven't verified this with Dave Matthews, but I'm always looking for a way in. So if you know how to make that happen, call me. Okay, so The Idea of You, for me, like hearing it, it's like if you were to think of a person and you could only think of a person that you were going to be with, and you were going to be with them in your mind and in your soul and all the things, but it was never actually going to happen. It was only just a dream. That the idea of you, kind of, that's what it makes me think about, is like thinking about a relationship that will never be. But am I way off?
I don't think of it that way. And maybe it's because of when I was born. I mean, when I think of it, it reminds me of my children.
Oh, no. Oh, Jesus. That was like
I know, it's so wildly different because you know what? You're not wrong. You're not wrong. It's the perspective. I mean, it's just like, you know, having my children, raising my children. I mean, maybe it's just me as a mom, probably, but it's like I adore my children. I'm in love with my children, and I'm glad my husband's totally not a jealous guy, and he's like, yeah, why wouldn't we be in love with our children? So yeah, I fall inside the idea of you. I've been thinking about them for 9 months, and it's like meeting them, and I loved it.
Yeah, no, I totally get that.
Weird, maybe, but okay, here I am.
No, I don't think it's weird. I think it's exactly what the point of this podcast is, right? Is to get different perspectives of like, what did this song do for you and what did this song do for you? Because honestly, so many songs mean so many different things to so many different people. And I love to hear the stories, and they're not wrong, right? Just like what she told me, even though I felt like an idiot saying that. She's like, you're not wrong. That's just how you've interpreted the song, which is not wrong, right? And again, until we can verify that with Dave Matthews, we just have to interpret it the way we interpret it until later, right? To be determined, right? To be determined. Okay, so Minarets, and I'm going to let these ladies talk about Minarets, because Minarets is a song that is older, and they've been teasing a lot with Mad Men's Eyes and Minarets, like playing those two kind of together. And so when Minarets was the next song after The Idea of You, did you think that it was kind of a fake, or did you think, okay, we're going to get it? Suzanne, what were your thoughts on that song, and how do you feel about it?
I call it Maderettes, because this is the second time we've had the Madman tease into Minarets. So, you know, I have my little nicknames now, and that has now become Maderettes for me. And I'm not the only one who agrees. But I just want to spin back to Idea of You for a minute. Dave actually wrote that song when he had a crush on his babysitter when he was a young boy. And that's kind of known. So I always think of a young guy crushing on an older girl. And, you know, I'm not going to pull your hair. I'm not going to kick you in the shins. That's like something you do on the playground, right? So he was like a little boy. And he's like, I'm not going to do that to you because I have a crush on you because you're my older babysitter. Anyway, I love that song. That's high energy. Anyway, getting back to the Maderettes. So, yeah, I love the little tease. But, you know, Minarets, I like it because it's a very passionate song. It's actually got brutal lyrics if you listen to it. It's, you know, it reminds me of the Gothic times when, you know, people were tortured and beaten for sainthood and things like that. But it's also got that very Middle Eastern feel. And for me, I mean, I've visited Turkey and Morocco, and I know what minarets are. And the people that worship do actually scream from the minarets. That's what their morning call to prayer is. And they do it at some ungodly hour of the morning, like 5 in the morning. Well, that's actually a thing in the Middle East. It's history. And they do it today in Turkey, Morocco, the two countries that I visited that are Muslim countries. It's a call to prayer, and it's undecipherable because it's like a whatever their language is, but it's not melodic. Trust me, it's very assaulting on your ears. But this is their call to prayer, and when you're staying there or visiting the country, no matter where you are, even if your windows are closed, you're going to hear it. So it does go back in history, and to me. But I love the medley, and I love it. In many ways, it's historical a little bit, but it's not overplayed. So I love it that it's not overplayed. If I heard it a million times, I don't think I'd be so entranced with it. But it's a very passionate and very, very dark song. So there's that.
I love that. So is Turkey considered Middle Eastern?
It's 99% Muslim country.
Okay, so I mean that just makes so much sense now, like hearing, and that's what I love about talking with other people is they can kind of shed light on a song, because when I've heard minarets, I've always heard, like, to me in my head without knowing exactly how to peg that one, I always say it has such a Middle Eastern vibe just based on the music. And then
Jeff has that medley that he also uses in Madman's Eyes. So if you see the continual theme there of that, it's not really the flute, I don't know what it is, but so the Maderettes, they both have very similar flavor to them in terms of melodically, not necessarily, you know, lyrically, but melodically.
They really do. They really do. Yeah, let's let you share, Christine.
It is so different for me because even though Suzanne and I have talked about the background and where she has visited those areas, so for me, there's actually a range in not southern, but the eastern Sierras. If you go to Mammoth Mountain and Resort, if you ski up there, there is a range that's called the Minarets, and there is a run that is called the Minarets, and it is like a triple black diamond run. And you know, I have taken many pictures up there, and we have skied up there as a family for over 15 years, and the whole perception of screaming and being able to ascend this area is amazing, and how brutal the lyrics are, and the way you have to, like, I don't want to say sacrifice your body, but be all in is cathartic. It's all of those things. So again, it's something different to everybody. And because I have a skiing family and I come from an area of that's what we do, it's different. And I never thought about it the way that Suzanne and I have talked about it, but there's parallels. There's many parallels.
I agree. And again, this is what this podcast is about, is just different opinions. So after Minarets, Walk Around the Moon. Now, if you've listened to my podcast, you know that that's one of my favorite new songs, right? Because of how I understand, or how I think I understand what the song is about, right? And when Dave wrote it, and kind of the things he's said were going on when he wrote it, and all of the things. And I'm totally into mushrooms. I'll say that. You know, I've said it before, so why say it again? Like, it just, I love that song. So Walk Around the Moon was next. Then She, you know, that was on a great album, 2018, Come Tomorrow album. I love that song. When I hear that, I automatically am taken back to 2018. For me, and I think it's okay to say this because it's an opinion, it's not one of my favorite songs, and that's okay. How do you feel about She?
I love She.
I love it.
And because the reason I love She, and it's just so passionate. Mm-hmm. It's almost primally passionate.
Yeah, no,
and it's like somebody being wrapped up and just involved on a very primal level of love and, you know, obsession and, yeah, involvement.
Damn, okay.
So there you go.
I'm thinking I may need to revisit this song based on the description you just gave. I'm like, what? Primal love?
My husband
let's talk about
She.
Okay, let's see what Suzanne, maybe I need to revisit it, which is cool. And sometimes I need to read the lyrics, which I honestly don't know the words to She. So that's probably what I'm missing, is I need to go through the words. But based on just what I hear, I don't love it. How do you feel about She, Suzanne?
Well, the best part of She is that before Dave starts it, he just stands up on stage and swings his hips from side to side and puts his hand over his head and goes, la, 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 like that for a couple of minutes. And you know it's coming. Well, yeah, you know it's coming. And he has said many times that when his wife first heard this song, that's what she did. She put her arms up over her head and swayed her hips and rocked her head back and forth. And that's what it reminds me of him playing that while his wife is dancing that way. Like, I don't know. But, you know, it's, you know, she changed the way I see the world. I think that's a gem, that lyric, you know. She changed the way I see the world. And, you know, yeah, it's definitely a love song, but it's just sexy. Yeah, those hips going back and forth when he nods his head and makes that hee sound. Yeah. Yeah, that's a sexy bitch right there. Okay, all right. Okay, that's all I have to say about that.
I'm definitely, I mean, this is on the record. Next podcast, I'm going to report back to you with a full, like, redo of She. I'm going to read the words. I'm going to like, do a deep dive into She, and she sounds like a pretty awesome bitch. So I'm going to listen. Oh, I mean, of course she's awesome. She's captured, like, her favorite man, right? We're not after Dave Matthews. Again, we're not after Dave Matthews.
For me, if anybody wrote a song for me like that, I think I would be, like, accomplished for the rest of my life. I mean,
you heard it straight from her mouth, man. If you want Suzanne, man, you got to write her a song.
My husband has always said, his friends say, how do you feel about your wife, like, swooning over Dave Matthews? And he says, you know what? I am great with him being the warm-up team because I'm good with being the catcher. Boom. And there's that.
Boom. You know, it's not all bad just to get worked up over a man. It's not bad. I mean, that's not how I feel about it. Whatever. Okay, anyways, moving on from She. Apparently, I need to revisit that. Samurai Cop. And, okay, here's the deal. Because I know my husband actually watches my podcast now. What the fuck is happening? It took this long. But thank you, babe, for watching all my episodes. This is his favorite song, Samurai Cop. And here's how I feel about it. I don't like it. So we're like on two different whatever. I understand how it's a sweet song. I understand how people correlate like their children to this song. I understand all of the things. It's just okay for me to go, I could write a set list and that would not make it. That's okay, right? It's okay to say that. How do you feel about Samurai Cop?
I'm going to the bathroom right now. It's my B song. It is my honey bucket song, my bathroom song. That's where I'm going.
It's a sweet song, and I'm so happy for the band for all their success, but it's cool to not love everything. Do you love Samurai Cop?
You know, I think that the words are absolutely beautiful and brilliant. It's the inception of life. But that medley is so repetitive. Oh my gosh. And it dun 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 dun, dun, you know, and after a while it's like, yeah, no, I've heard this enough. But it is, you know, lyrically beautifully written. My favorite part of that song is when Timmy starts going off on the electric guitar, because it's changed the medley. You know, the medley is not repeating itself over and over again. But it is, you know, it is still a beautiful message.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And you can see how, like, life has changed for Dave Matthews, right? Like, now he's writing all of these sweet songs about life, and you know, I love all of that. Obviously, I have 4 children and I'm married, and like I love all of those things, but like that song is not my favorite Dave Matthews Band song. And that's cool to say, right? Now, Jimmy thing into Brick House. Did you hear the sigh from the other side of the room?
Okay, but Brick House. I've been asking for Brick House for like, I don't know, almost 10 years. My friends and I were like, he needs to cover Brick House.
I think the interesting take will be from Suzanne, so I'm going to pass the mic over. We're going to talk about Jimmy thing into Brick House.
So, you know, I go to a lot of shows, and this Jimmy thing has been played at, I'd say, 94% of the show. And, you know, we've had the Jimmy thing with Sexy Motherfucker. We've had the Jimmy thing with, you know, Fly Like an Eagle. We've had the Jimmy thing with many different outros. I think last year it was the Doobie Brothers, Rollin' Train. It's just too long, and now we know Brick House is coming, so it's predictable. And it, you know, you're good for 24 minutes, 25 minutes with that. I mean, once it starts, it's like eating up, you know, an eighth of the show. And we've been hearing this song consistently since like 1999. I don't know. It's just overplayed. And now the Brick House is so predictable. I mean, I'm not saying they don't do a good job, but, you know, the last couple of shows, we had just the Brick House, which I was like, now you're talking, because we don't have to sit through Jimmy thing again. I know. I go to a lot of shows. Not everybody does. But I think everybody can agree that Jimmy thing is overplayed, and it's a very long, drawn-out song. So that's my take on it.
That's her take. And so what I will say about Jimmy thing is it's one of those recognizable Dave Matthews Band songs, right? So again, I try to remember that the band does play the hits, because a lot of people that are at a venue or at a concert are not, this is not their 100th concert. This may be their second concert, and that's the song that they know. So as a businessman, you got to play the hits too, right? You can't just play all deep dive tracks, because then your people that are there for memories, for nostalgia, because people do go to concerts for nostalgia. Who hasn't gone to a concert for nostalgia? And definitely Dave Matthews Band is one of those things for a lot of people, because it brings back memories of college. And so Jimmy Thing and different things, not just college, because all the things. And so Jimmy Thing is one of those that's just recognizable, and it's a fan favorite. Brick House, here's what I like about Brick House. Do I wish they were doing like Sexy Motherfucker or something different? Yeah, but Brick House is fun, but here's why I think it's fun. I love to hear Rashawn sing. I think that he has some hidden talents. Come on back in. This is just a revolving door. This we're doing.
Friend, come in.
When it's Dave Matthews Band traveling, the room rotates with people. We got people in and out, and so here, welcome to the party. If you're watching this on YouTube, it's a party here. We're at Suzanne's house. How could it not be a party, right? Like, we got all the party people in place. But anyways, if you're listening to this on podcast, well, just know that you can watch it on YouTube, and you can see us acting all crazy and all that shit. So Cornbread, here's where I want to take a pause. So there was a light pause between Brickhouse and Cornbread, and here's why. They brought a guest out. Now, I will be completely honest. I wasn't exactly for sure who it was when he walked out, but who did walk out was Joe Lawler, who is, not only an amazing musician, but he has had a career for years in music, and for the last 14 years he's been traveling exclusively with the Dave Matthews Band as their live recording engineer and archivist. So he's amazing. He played Cornbread in a way that I've never quite heard before. I mean, he's done it before. There are YouTube videos of him doing Cornbread with the band. It was just really, really good. I know Cornbread doesn't always satisfy everyone's needs. It always satisfies my needs, because oof, what a fucking sexy song, right? Like, oh damn.
He also, when they go to Mexico, they have, the stages in on the pools, and he often plays at the pool parties, and he is phenomenal. Yeah, I mean, if you don't know about Joe Lawler, you can Google him, because he's that big. I mean, he went to Berklee College of Music. I mean, he started a lot of bands. If you've ever heard of a band, I think it was Egypt. Let's talk about Joe Lawler. You want to talk about Joe Lawler? Yeah. Look, it's a party up in here. Look at him. Hey, say hi.
Hi, everyone. It's the Fire Dancer. Live from Suzanne's in New Jersey. So great to meet you finally.
Yeah, we literally just met. She's walking in the door, and I'm like, I'm doing an episode, and now she's in it. Woo! Okay, so
we're like, party at Suzanne's.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to be with family. I can't even explain.
Love all of this.
Hours, but I made it.
You made it.
Didn't even shower yet.
Let's talk about Joe Lawler. So we're talking about Cornbread because Joe Lawler came out then, and so let's talk about Joe. What do you know about Joe?
Well, I know that he's been part of the crew for years, and he's a very accomplished musician in his own right. And he is with this woman called Kristen, and they perform together, and they have their own album together. And they've set up the stage at the pool at Dave and Tim in Cancun, and they did a little concert for us together. But Joe, he rips it up when he comes out, and Cornbread is a good song for them to do it on, because they've had other guests for Cornbread, but the electric guitar, he really brings it, and it was a very entertaining to see that. And of course, Cornbread was a highlight of the show for me, and especially after Jimmy thing. Just saying. All right.
She's not gonna give up on the Jimmy thing. She's like, please stop playing Jimmy thing, but not gonna happen. happen. Okay, so Joe just came out for Cornbread, and then he went back to finish doing his job because he works for the band, and he's crew, but like it just goes to show the quality of not only the musicians but the people behind the musicians that are making shit happen on the stage, because obviously it's more than just the dudes that are playing the music. It's about their crew and what the crew is able to do to help them do all of the things they do. And so the quality of the crew, I mean, Joe is a prime example of the quality they have people. I mean, just masters of their trade that are behind masters of their trade. So the level of just amazingness on the stage and behind is amazing. It's amazing, right? Okay, so then we go into Monsters again from the new album that dropped this year. You Might Die Trying, always one of my favorites. I think that the horns are highlighted so well in that song, so I always really like to hear that. It Only Takes a Moment. But here's what, if you look at setlist comparisons, now on the hub it's going to say Only Takes a Moment, but if you got a setlist, it's not going to say Only Takes a Moment. It's going to say Cha Cha. That's what the band calls this song. I'm not for sure why, but here's, yeah, the hub calls it Only Takes a Moment, so you may know it by that, but I've heard a lot of other people also know that the band, if you get a set list or if you see a picture of the band's official set list, it's going to say Cha Cha. So again, we just need a way in to verify why it is that they call it that. But at that moment is when they brought out another special guest, and so Alpine Night 2 was full of guests. Suzanne, I know you're going to be more familiar with this guest than I am. Of course, we are very familiar with his work, and why I am familiar with his work is because I know that Jeff was a part of this band. So tell us, for Only Takes a Moment or Cha Cha, who was our guest for this, for the next several songs?
Yeah, so that was Bella Fleck, and it happened to be on SPAC Night 2 that it was the final show of the Dead and Company. Period. I mean, that was their last show, period, done. And that was being held in Colorado. And I noticed the stage had tie-dye lights all over it. A lot of people that are Dave fans are also Dead fans. And the fact that he played with the Dead last week in Colorado, and the fact that it was the last Dead show in Colorado, there's a song that Dave has historically done, I believe, with Bella. That was a Dead song. And we might be missing something in the set list. Yeah, But anyway, I want to say there's another song in there that was a tribute to the Dead. But anyway, Bella Fleck is banjo. We know that. And I actually listened to Bella Fleck and the Flecktones before, anybody in the Dave community. I mean, it was like a smooth jazz thing back in the 90s. I listened to him. So he's a tight with Dave. He's friends with him. And I like the element of the banjo in the music. I think it adds a nice dimension to it. And, you could see that Dave was totally vibing with him. And Bella's a little older, but he's had a long history with Dave. And like I said, I think there's one other song there that they did that was a nod to the Dead. And I was hoping or expecting that, let's say. But yeah, the Spaceman, which was then, well, the Spaceman was a nice little surprise, for me again. I do a lot of shows, I hear a lot of songs over and over and over, but it was nice to hear Spaceman. It was a little surprise. And Bella and, Dave jam well together, and the rest of the band respects them. You can see the mutual respect for Bella with Carter and Stefan, all of them, really. So it's nice to have guests. Okay, back to you.
So Spaceman was definitely one that I have a couple of bracelets that no matter what I wear, one of them says, the Hogs love DMB, which if you don't know what the Hogs are, that's Arkansas. I'm from Arkansas, so always wearing that one, and then I wear one that says Spaceman and one that says Rapunzel. So I've gotten all of them at SPAC, and so yay! I was super glad to hear Spaceman. Always a great song. Line Our Graves. Again, I feel bad every week when I say I've heard it again, just because of all the people back home that are wanting to hear Line Our Graves. It was a great version too. Like, it was really good, and I'm just calling it like I see it, but like, it was really good. Don't Drink the Water, always really good. Typical Situation, So Damn Lucky, and then we get an encore. And here's where I really want to talk about the encore. So we got a 3-song encore. Now, if you've listened to the episode from night 1, that was with my friend Darren Baldwin, and he made a request. He was like, I really want to hear number 40. He carries around a sign that says number 40, please, or something like that. He didn't get it night 1, but night 2, the opening song in the encore was number 40. And I mean, Darren, he just knows that it was to him. Whether or not, again, we need to verify that information with Dave, but it was a sweet moment, to see Darren get what he wanted. Plus, number 40 is a really great song, and I'm sure most people are very aware of the number 40 opening encore song, because there was a lot of social media posts going on about the live stream that caught some yelling in the pit during the encore. And so again, like Christina and I said, like, we'll say it on record, we love everyone, but if we could just ask one favor, no screaming and yelling in the pit when there's music, because we're all paying to see a performance. We're not, in fact, paying to see anyone talk during the encore.
Uber rare. Number 40 is uber rare. It was almost like a moment in time that I'm like, is this real? Like, it's uber rare. And then Dave actually even said, like, I don't even really know what that is, but everybody asked me to play it, and I just like it. And I've typically known that as the intro to Once Sweet World, but you never hear that, and it was so rare. And for people to be talking, and I think Darren really did get it because he requested it, and Dave sees him all the time, and that's just like one of the things about this band, that it's like a magic moment can really happen. He requested, and he got it, and it's just like, wow, we haven't heard that. And I'd have to look up the stats, but that is uber rare. So it was really great.
Really exciting. Do you have any thoughts on number 40 and when it was being played? Were you surprised?
I was actually super, super happy for Darren, because anybody that knows him knows what a genuinely big-hearted, kind human being that he is. So you root for those people, and I know it meant a lot to him to get it. It's been like a holy grail for him, and I was really glad he got it.
So again, if you didn't watch episode 1, I encourage you to do that from SPAC, because Darren was my co-host, and he's just a really great guy who loves the band, and he loves the fans of this band. And so I'm so happy Darren got number 40. And that was, of course, a solo by Dave. So the band stayed back for a little bit. Dave came out, sang number 40, sang after that Funny How Time Slips Away, which is just sweet, just a sweet, sweet song. And then the full band came out and closed with Gray Street. So we got a total of 23 songs for Alpine Night 2. Only, well, I guess two tour debuts. We want to count Spaceman was the first time it was played in 2023. And then, of course, number 40 was the first time it was played in 2023. So ultimately, on Night 2, we got 2 tour debuts. And that is a tongue twister. Can you say it 5 times really fast?
Tour 2. 2 tour date debuts.
That is really tough to say, so it's not just me. But guys, that is the set list from night 2. I don't know that there's more to talk about. So guys, if you are listening to this on a podcast, be sure to watch it on YouTube so you can see all the fun things that we've done today. This episode's kind of been all over New York and New Jersey, and different people in different outfits with different hats in different places. So it's been like... It's been a scavenger hunt, which is something apparently I am going to remember from SPAC. But SPAC's been memorable, that I can say. And we continue on. So today is Monday. We're closing up this episode. Tomorrow we have Holmdel, New Jersey. So we're super excited about that. So stay tuned. We will definitely have a show to talk about Holmdel. So guys, say it with me. Do you know what I say after every episode? Peace, love, and Dave Matthews Band. Peace out, guys. Bye.